Mamdani scares you? He loves to hear that. Big victory for him. We can't start to beg and plead and complain and whine. We're in trouble. Help us. This is scary. You just surrendered. Now you're going to fight them? You're fighting at a distinct disadvantage. It would be nice to remind the anti-Semite. How many times do you think you can scare us? We've heard this all before.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, oh no, not again. Not again. There's a difference, right?
Yeah. And he was the one that survived.
Yeah. Or you're doing that again? So pathetic. We'll outlive you. We always have.
Rabbi, I have to wish you congratulations on the recent election of your new mayor, Zohran Mamdani. I wonder what's going to be now for the future of New York City. Although I know you're actually not quite in the city, but nevertheless, one of the things that I wanted to discuss with you, because we've been covering a lot of what's happening in America right now, is the fact that we're seeing a rise of Israel and Jew, not just hatred, but obsession in both the left and parts of the right now. It's starting to infect the right in America. And of course, we also have it from the radical jihadists and the Islamists. And I'm often thinking, what are we meant to do? What is our duty at this time as Jews? Because sometimes I feel like, even though it may be necessary, there's something almost a bit pathetic or tragic about just trying to survive, just having to keep complaining about these problems that's affecting our community, as valid as they are, as legitimate as they are. But I kind of feel like, really, does that have to be our response, just to keep calling it out, keep whining? Now, on the other hand, if people say, no, we have to be positive as Jews, we have to, move forward and just shine our light, and that's that. People say, well, yeah, but hold on, that we have real problems to address, and you can't just ignore them. So how should we be reacting to what we're seeing happening in America and across the Western world as Jews?
You want to talk about New York, or you want to talk about the world?
Well, it's everywhere, really.
New York thinks it's the world. Well, on the one hand, when you're voting in an American election, simple righteousness and justice says, vote for the person who is best for the country. If you're voting for the mayor of New York, vote for the person who is best for New York. It's not right to vote for the candidate who will be best for Israel. That's disingenuous. You're voting for a mayor of New York. So you got to be a mensch about it, and you vote for who you think is best for New York. It's shocking that 30% of the Jewish votes went to Mamdani.
Really?
Huh?
Wow.
Maybe that's a little inflated, but if it's 20%, it's just as bad. What are Jews thinking? See, if you're voting for what is best for Jews, you will either vote for someone who's no good for New York, or trying to prove that you're not concerned about Jewish issues, you will vote for the guy who is worse for the Jews, just to prove how liberal you are. If you're thinking what's best for Jews when you're voting in New York, you're not being honest, you're not being right. That should not be your issue or your decision making. What's best for New York? Who thinks Mamdani is best for New York? Nobody. Somebody pointed out, I think correctly, nothing he offered or promised, nothing he stands for, nothing he believes in is at all remotely believable. But he kept talking about he understands our pain.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
understands the problem. And we fall for that every single time.
Every time.
Yeah. He understands me very well. Yeah, that's why he's going to manipulate you, take advantage of you, play with your sentiments, play with your emotions, and rip you off.
I saw a great little animation clip, and it was two politicians in a debate, and one said, "I want good things," and everyone starts clapping, and then the other politician says, "And how are you going to pay for good things?" And everyone went, "Boo!" And then he said, "Oh no, no, no! I also want good things."
Yeah. Look, every charismatic dictator understood the people better than the non dictator. And that's how they win. But it's sheer manipulation. It's horrible. At any rate, the Jewish issue, as you mentioned, whining, complaining, everybody hates us, they've always hated us. That doesn't do us any good. No question about it. It makes us sound so pathetic. Oh, that's the word you use. Uh, so no, none of that. None of that. On the other hand, you want to fight this? So why'd you vote for him? The only weapon you have is voting. No, no, we're going to fight it. What does that mean exactly? You're going to call them names? What are you going to do to fight him?
Well, they might say, raise public awareness about how he is this, that, or the other against Jews, against Israel, how he's extreme, and really damage his PR, I suppose.
Oh, that's not going to damage his PR.
Well, it happened in the UK. You had Jeremy Corbyn, who was the leader of the UK Labour Party and then opposition. And the Jewish community were very proactive, as were others. I can't say they were the cause of his downfall. And there's still problems in the UK Labour Party, but the new leadership definitely feels a keener sense of being stricter, even if they were a bit complicit or a lot complicit. It did have a bit of, there was some success of the pushing back campaign.
Maybe, but more it's that the Brits are worried about Britain, not about Israel.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So saying they're anti-Semitic, that's not what. Anyway, look, the thing is, we can't afford to be negative. That's for sure. The only way to respond to hatred or whatever is to be more proud, more dignified, because as soon as you let them get under your skin, they've won the war. It's just a matter of time. I think we spoke about this once before. The Hasidim in Russia under Stalin, who outlived him, outmaneuvered him, they were very, very smart in their strategy. One Chassid who was in a prison was notified by a friendly guard that another chassid had been arrested the night before, and that he was in the cell directly beneath the first chassid. They were both bigger than life. They both survived. They both beat the system. Right? But at night, the chassid who had been there before whispered into the opening of the heating pipe that ran from one floor to the other, was not sealed. So he was able to actually talk to the chassid who was in the cell below, who had just gotten there. His first question was, "Are you content?" Which seems like the most ridiculous question to ask a guy who had just been arrested and is possibly facing a life sentence or whatever, a death sentence. Are you content? I heard the story when I was a teenager, and I didn't understand what kind of question that is. Was it meant to be sarcastic, or? But then I realized, if you're not content to be in the cell, they've gotten to you, and you're going to go down. They've breached your defense because you don't want to be there, and you're being kept there, and they've got the upper hand. The only way to win against them is to say, "You don't mean anything to me. I'm perfectly content to be here if that's what God wants. So go ahead, scream, shout, ask questions. You're not going to get to me." So that first breach, that first show of vulnerability, that's the killer. So not only are you not afraid, not only are you not intimidated, you're not even unhappy. They can't even do that to you. It's brilliant. And they won. In the battle between Russia or the Soviet Union and Chabad Hasidim, Chabad won. Big. We lost a lot of people in this battle, in this war, but in the end we won. We got to do the same thing universally. Mamdani scares you? He loves to hear that. Big victory for him. We can't start to beg and plead and complain and whine. We're in trouble. Help us. This is scary. You just surrendered. You just threw in the towel. Now you're going to fight them? You're fighting at a distinct disadvantage. So we need to be more proud, more dignified. We got to stay above. Like it says, Kiseitse la mulchama al eivecha. When you go out to war on your enemy, not with your enemy. They're not your equal. Stay above. That way you're more likely to win. So we need to be more proud, more open, more on the offensive rather than the defensive. And the offensive means we know what's right. We're going to make the world a better place. We know our job. We're going to stay the course. And eventually we'll convince Mamdani to give up his crazy ideas.
Is there a place, though, also in terms of, you talk about the hishtadlus we should be doing, the effort we should be putting in. Is there a place also for, political action, campaigning, that kind of stuff? Or do you think, no, primarily just keep showing that you're not intimidated?
Well, there was a lot of campaigning, and the voter turnout was much, much bigger than ever because people were voting against him, which is exactly what you do. when you're a citizen in a democracy. But beyond that, yeah, you have to stay connected. Don't run and hide. But a couple of rabbis met with him, and they came out shocked, shaken. He really does hate Israel. He would not even agree to a two-state solution. You were shocked, and you go online from your synagogue or from your temple or whatever, and tell the whole world how shocked you were. You just lost a war.
Yeah. And it's also amazing how much public opinion sides and rides the wave with those they think are more positive, more upbeat, leading the conversation.
Of course. In every conversation, the one who speaks with confidence always wins.
And
Even if
confidence
he's
does
wrong.
not look like it's being rattled.
No. No, he's very arrogant. The way only a religious person can be.
Well, that is sort of the next thing I want to discuss is like what can give us that confidence. And for me, someone said to me recently, like, how can you be talking about all these issues the whole time and yet seem so calm, positive, upbeat? For me, it's the religious belief that we know what the conclusion, the crescendo of history will be. So that is the most stabilizing thing of all. You have to check out the trailer for our new documentary on Moshiach, the Jewish belief about the Messiah, what he will do, how the world will look after his coming, and why his arrival is close. And if you want to watch the full thing, just click the link below in the video description. For thousands of years, the Jewish people have carried a promise that history is not a random cycle, that suffering and darkness and exile are not the end of the story, that one day the world will be redeemed and the Messiah, the Moshiach in Hebrew, will come. But what does that actually mean? Who is Moshiach? When will he come? How will we know he's real? Why would God design a world that waits so long for redemption in the first place? And what will life feel like after he comes? With AI and machines beginning to replace work, maybe we're already catching a glimpse. But then what will we do with our days? The prophets spoke of that world long ago. In this groundbreaking JTV Plus documentary, we uncover the truth about the Jewish vision of the Messiah, who he is, why it matters, and why his coming could be closer than you think. Join us as we reveal the truth about history's most anticipated figure. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.
Look, if you know what's right and you're facing someone who's wrong, who should be confident and who should be frightened? Who's the pity on? The fact that you can beat me up doesn't make you right or better. You're wrong. You're wrong. And if there's some way that I can convince you that you're wrong, then I would win. You can beat me up, that doesn't mean you win. It means you lose. Look, it's like every problematic relationship between a teenager and his father. The fact that his father can beat him up doesn't win him any points whatsoever. Yeah, you can beat me up. And you probably will because you're wrong. You're stupid. You're evil. So who's confident? Yeah. The fact you can beat me up just proves that you have nothing to say. You don't stand for anything. You're not good for anything. Yeah, you can beat everybody up. So that's the bullying. You don't give in to bullying. There is so much good news, by the way, that we shouldn't give the impression that we're in trouble. We've got an issue. It came very suddenly. It's like, some of our best friends just turned on us. We were best friends yesterday. What happened? It's so fickle. It's so shallow. It's so unpredictable. So it can disappear as quickly as it started. Just give the world a new issue.
It's just that Jews are so understandably paranoid, right? We are, of course, we know there's a higher transcendence, but objectively, we are outnumbered, and we do have a history of friends turning on us and it ending up very badly.
Well, yes and no, but it would be nice to remind the anti-Semite. How many times do you think you can scare us? We've heard this all before.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, "Oh no, not again," not again. There's a difference, right?
Yeah. And he was the one that survived.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing that again? So pathetic. We'll outlive you. We always have. If you're resorting to bullying again, it means you're in big trouble.
I love that. I love that approach.
How did Germany become Nazis? They were in trouble. They were desperate. They had nothing. So you become a bully. You get your 15 minutes of fame. Lord Rabbi Sachs had that famous quote, "Non-Jews respect Jews who respect Judaism." You want respect? Stop whining. Say something intelligent. They're good at bullying. We're good at being smart. So be smart. Really smart. Not shrewd. We're really not good at being shrewd. When it comes to PR, and we're so stupid. We're so dense. We can't win a single battle in the PR war. Every time we open our mouth, we make it worse.
It must be that there's some deeper, spiritual reasons why that is, spiritual forces against us. Because if we really did get our messaging in line with our ultimate destiny, that'd be the end of exile.
Mm-hmm. Because the world wants to hear it, needs to hear it. So anything we say other than that misses the target. So the people are like, that's not the answer we were hoping for. So
Right. But I'm saying maybe the Satan, the negative forces, are working very hard to stop us from realizing this.
oh yeah, why haven't we said what we need to say? To be kind, because we're frightened. Chosen people is the scariest concept for the Jew in the
Oh,
whole universe.
oh, they can't handle it.
We'd rather face a den of lions.
Literally just 2 days ago, I was talking to a secular, quote unquote, Jewish couple, and they were asking me, what's my key messaging, and I mentioned, chosen. We need to come to terms with the chosen people thing. That's the root of the anti-Semitism, and they said, oh wow, it's really not a helpful term.
Yeah. If you're the chosen people and you're terrified of being chosen, do we need to look any further for where our problem is? You are the terrified chosen people. Yeah, if we could fix that, we fix everything.
Hmm.
They're literally telling us that. Like children who behave inappropriately because they want negative attention. So read between the lines. They're not being negative, they just want attention.
Totally.
The world wants the answers that we have, and we're not giving them.
It's coming up more and more explicitly among the anti-Semites. Literally, I saw a friend of mine speaking to people, an anti-Israel tabling Muslim group on a college campus, and inevitably, within a minute or two of him trying to ask them why they're so have such a problem with Israel, they get on, well, because you just think you're the chosen people and you have a right to this land, and it's amazing. It's such a revelation to see that it's that's what this is.
And when the Jew says, "Oh no, what? Are you helping yourself or destroying yourself?" No. We're not chosen. We don't have any rights to the land. But we're a democracy. Thank you. And, the buzzer goes off. Wrong answer.
I'm curious. Someone yelled at me, a friend of mine, and myself, "Free Palestine," a few weeks ago, and my friend confronted them and said one of the points he said was, "Why are you saying that to me?" And they said, "Well, because you're Jews, Israelis." He said, "I'm a British Jew. I don't live in Israel. I'm not responsible for Israel's government decisions." I wonder, do you think that's a good argument to make? Do you think that is something we should be saying?
No, that's what the German Jews said. "Well, you don't hate us. We're Germans."
Mm.
Yeah.
In other words, we should own it.
Of course.
I think he was just trying to expose their total hypocrisy, immoral, basically just generalizations and the way that they are meant to be against.
Yeah. I think if somebody says free Palestine, we should say, we don't give stuff away for free. We'll negotiate a good price. We're living in very, to say the least, very interesting times. And comparing it to other times is not good.
Mm.
This is not the 30s. And the proof is, this is not the 30s because they're calling us the Nazis. That wasn't happening in the 30s.
Exactly. It's a sign of moral improvement. At least they know what bad is.
Now we're the Nazis. That's cute. No, it's not the same. Not the same.
Yeah.
The anti-Semitism is skin deep.
A quick message before we finish. We have been lied to about the Palestinians from beginning till end. Have a watch of the trailer for our new documentary called The Invention of the Palestinians, How a Nation Was Invented to Destroy Another. And if you want to watch the full thing, just click on the link in the video description. The Palestinians. We have been told they are an ancient people fighting for their homeland which has been stolen from them. This narrative has fueled decades of conflict, painting Israel as an occupier of stolen land. But what if this identity is not of an ancient nation, but a modern, cynical invention? A political construct designed not to build a state, but to dismantle the Jewish one. In this JTV Plus documentary, we're going to uncover the truth behind the creation of the Palestinian identity, how it was forged in the fires of pan-Arabism, absent in historical records until strategically rebranded in the 1960s by leaders like Egyptian-born Yasser Arafat to rally global opposition against Israel. We'll trace its roots from the Ottoman era, where Palestine was a region without a distinct people, through the pre-1948 years of Arab rejectionism, before focusing on the pivotal shift of the 1960s, when Arafat declared we should now be known as Palestinians, inventing symbols like the flag to mask genocidal aims. This wasn't about self-determination, it was about exploiting refugees, suppressing true aspirations under Arab rule, and perpetuating a war to destroy Israel. Join us as we debunk the myths of an ancient Palestinian nation, expose the strategic manipulation, and reveal how this construct has hindered peace while fueling hate. Fair but firm, this is the story of an identity weaponized, not for building a future, but for erasing one. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.